Finn's Tailgate.
Good flipping afternoon, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Afternoon Color Commentary, brought to you by the Finn's Tailgate. I'm your host, Culler, and I will be bringing the commentary today. I still got a cup of coffee. You could call it whatever you want, but that's really meant for the morning. Mostly, I want to get my word out about this game coming up. But currently, it is 3:33 in South Florida, 77 degrees at Palm Beach International Airport, mostly cloudy, and the rain's coming in. Welcome to everybody. Welcome to everybody in chat. Welcome to everybody listening. Welcome to all our members, mods, lovers of the show, haters of the show. Please, everybody, like and share. Subscribe if you haven't already. If you're on Twitch and Twitter or Facebook, get over here to YouTube. Give us a subscribe if you haven't already. YouTube will love you for it. We'll love you for it. Everybody will love you for it. And if you share this video, you'll get more people in the chat to talk to. That's just the way it works. That's how everybody knows it's going. So on that note, I'll encourage everybody also to catch us for Tuesday nights. We are trying to get Tonk back. If not, if that gets put on hold, I'm trying to switch my mind up too, because Thursday nights are just getting to be way too much taxing on energy. The games are terrible. They put me to sleep. That's why you got afternoon color commentary today. I might be switching that to maybe like another day of the week if I go in the evenings. If not, Friday afternoons like today. I got to figure out something to get it more consistent. I can't do Thursday nights. It's just so taxing energy-wise. Plus, by then I'm beating a dead horse about last week's game, which I'm not going to do today, but it's over with. And I'm not going to let it cloud my judgment other than certain things on this week's game. Things we got to fix, obviously, but those are more long-term things that don't really apply to just one single game like last week. So I've turned the page, but, I put a lot of energy out talking about what happened last week during the early part of the week, and it ends up taxing me so much that I can't it's hard for me to go and give you guys what you deserve. And that's, good content going forward about the game coming up. So here we are, Friday afternoon. And I'm so happy to see all of you. First one in chat, we always shout them out first, was none other than Carla Williams. Appreciate you always coming by, Carla. I know you don't always agree with me, probably never, but we certainly appreciate you being here. And I don't try to make you frustrated enough to leave, but I get it. Sometimes we can only take too much. Marino's Goat, how you doing? Mike Catania, as you can see, he's a member. See how he's colored green and got special emojis to use. Y'all can get that too if you become a member. That's one of the ways to support the channel, besides liking, sharing, and subscribing. And if you don't want to do that, it's okay. We understand. As far as, not everybody, can help out monetarily. We get that. But if you do buy some gear for yourself, make sure you're hitting the link in the description below for Fanatics. That way we know, or they know we sent you. That's where you can find all your officially licensed gear, NBA, NFL, NHL, NCAA, and many others, all officially licensed, all high quality stuff. And make sure you're also hitting Backroom Collections for even more high quality stuff, custom artwork, custom collectibles, all kinds of great stuff over at Backroom Collections. Use hashtag code, hashtag TFTG in checkout for 10%. And also, Cash App, Venmo, the Fins Tailgate, Super Chat, Super Stickers, and as I said before, memberships. We appreciate all those who have contributed in all the different ways. And you can also get some gear, some TFTG gear from two different shops. One includes a flag. The other includes all this other great stuff. I got to get me one of these coffee mugs. They're just awesome. Mine's getting old. I'm going to have to retire my Dolphin mug here pretty soon before the handle falls off. So we're going to get in today to talking about, I want to talk about where we're at, where we've been, what we've produced regarding points. I know we've run up and down the field. Currently, Tyreek Hill is leading the league in pass reception yardage. I know we run all over the field. I know we put up the numbers, but we just don't seem to be putting up the points once again. Now, I know our points per game was up at a certain period of the year when we were fully healthy and running on all cylinders. But I mean, come on, we can't just, it's not just the quarterback. It's the offensive line injuries. It's the questionable coaching decisions, personnel decisions, all this kind of stuff. And a lot of it doesn't make any sense. If you're a good contender, a good championship football team, you shouldn't need, look at the last 3 games we've dropped, and we were in every one of them. You can blame the backup quarterbacks. You could do this, you could do that. You can credit Tua tomorrow, Sunday night, if he balls out and we win the game and blah, blah, blah. But you can't deny the fact that in order for that to happen, you're going to have better offensive line play. That's just all there is to it. And if you get that, you can credit Tua all you want. I don't care at this point. I just want to win. I don't necessarily think that as bad and atrocious as our offensive line play is reverted to, some would say even worse than last year, I don't see how that's a recipe for success for Tua either. Come on, people. So I look to see that getting better this week and really being the difference in the ball game. And if that means that it's Tua, well, yeah, that's Tua. If nobody can get up to play, if Tua's not in there and it's because of a personality thing, okay, fine. I'll take that too. I don't care. If we're better because Tua's in, then get on the dang field and make us better. And that's how I'm going to evaluate the game going forward, because I really don't think, I mean, yeah, Pittsburgh overcame a 9-point spread last week, but I really don't think they have enough to match what we've got. And I really think we're finally going to see that operating on all cylinders from the get-go, not just the fourth quarter. And I think we really have an opportunity as fans to see our team put a really good hurting on another team at home while we're celebrating our 50th anniversary of the perfect season, which would be absolutely lovely, because every time we have all this fanfare, it seems like we lose. But let's get out there and show them. Let's buy your tickets. They're expensive, but buy them. Otherwise, the terrible towels will. So welcome, Bentley, to the chat. See you in here. Zippa, love you, buddy. Scott Jackson, Adam E., how you guys doing? Flipside Fishing, 88 the Hardaway, Ben Nunu. Love seeing y'all in here. JMCPT, love you, buddy. Ilias Giftopoulos. Love the name. How you doing? If I pronounced it right. How's it going, Green Rat? Thomas Jensen. Braylon Jackson. That's a football name right there. You play any ball? Used to, maybe currently? That's a great football name right there. Braylon Jackson, yeah. Laura, how you doing, Laura? JD Diesel. I think that covers everybody for right about now. We got 42 watching, and I don't have my page up, so I don't know how many likes. Look at me. 22 likes. We need 20. There's 20 people in chat that don't use their blinker, their right-hand blinker. You know how easy it is? It's like, hit the dislike if you want to. I don't, it still does virtually the same thing. Matter, antimatter. But getting back to what we were saying, what I was talking about, and we'll segue that in. There's not much news other than injury reports. It's looking like Teron Armstead's gonna probably be a go for the game. Obviously, Byron's still out. As far as I know, Waddle is going to be okay to play. He may not be feeling the greatest, but he'll make an effort to be a threat on the field. How you doing, Pete? And California, what's up, buddy? Yes, I think we're going to be at full capacity. There might be here and there out, even on defense. Emmanuel Ogba's turning up with questionable right now. Which could allow Najee to kind of get free a little bit. I wouldn't even mind if we brought up one of the rooks. I'd like to see some Cameron Good get out on the field. Bring him on up for a minute. Big John, how you doing, man? Big John Stud, we figured it out, man. I finally got Capitan to look into where the list is where everybody's blocked, and sure enough, your name was on there for some reason. So what probably happened is Cap for Life's ass probably pocket blocked you months ago, and nobody knew it. And yeah, you were there the whole time, so I can definitely see you now, man. Appreciate you. Haven't seen you in a while, man. Love to get your takes on stuff, man. It's been a while since we chopped it up, man. I think you must have been pretty happy the first 3 games of the season. A lot of vindication for you. How you doing, Michael K? Mark? How you doing, Mark? Anthony? Kenneth, how's it going, Kenneth? So, it is what it is right now. We got the Steelers coming up. So I'm going to start with, look, I'm going to point out a lot of things about our point differential and our points per game and all that stuff. And everybody's going to think I'm crapping on Tua, crapping on the team, whatever. That ain't what this is about. As always, it's to say, here's where we at. How could it not get any better? Because it's really not that bad. It's just mediocre. And so you're talking about a touchdown here, a touchdown there, extra. And we go from mediocre to beating anybody in the league. It really is that close, people. And that's why it was so heartbreaking to see us drop 3 without Tua in there, because I firmly believe that the quarterbacks played well enough to get us those wins. And it's like, find time for the rookie coach excuse, but whatever. I'm going to turn the page on it. I don't think Mike McDaniel is going to continue to make the mistakes that I believe he has made. And you got to also look at it like a preponderance. I mean, if you make this one little mistake, then you make this one little mistake, and you make none of those mistakes in and of themselves are really that bad. Yes, Jalen Waddle fumbled. He's going to fumble again in his career. Mark my words. And yes, it may be in a game, it may lose a game, but we still have to realize it's just a fumble. It happens. The problem is all of that stuff happened at the same time for the last 3 weeks, over and over and over and over again. On top of the league not making things any better for us with their mismanagement of the whole concussion nonsense. How you doing, Larry? Good to see you. Ronnie. Franklin Stubbs, welcome. Christopher Henry. And Magoda Valoa, just getting in. How you doing? And Affliction VHS, how you doing? So we're going to do this all together because I've done it 1,000 times, and we're going to do it all together because I really want everybody to understand where we're at. TD touched on it yesterday on his show, went through a lot of the points per games, but there was a lot of stuff, a lot of credit to TD. I'm not trying to knock him. I'm just saying there's a lot of things I wasn't able to catch the live show and put my 2 cents into chat. So, there's a lot that's going to be a little bit of overlap probably, but there were some key areas where I wanted to give my own perspective because I feel the same way TD does a lot of the time when it comes to this issue of points per game and point differential. And honestly, this year is a little bit interesting because a lot of the league's overall points per game is down. So fortunately, there's a lot of peers that are considered in our category that are usually considered great teams. So not all is lost. It's not, but we have to look at it. So first of all, obviously the game's at 8:20 Sunday evening. You'll be able to catch that on NBC's Football Night in America. And you'll also be able to catch it on the radio at AM 560 WQAM. And also KISS Country, KISS 99.9 on the FM side of the house. Weather is expected to be Sunday, scattered thunderstorms, 85 degrees for a high, 70 for a low, with a 10% chance of rain. Sundown's at 6:45. It's been kind of dry, but given that the rain's coming in that day and it's going to be hot, probably make for a fairly muggy night. Just keep that in mind. Probably won't make that big a difference. It's starting to make less of a difference this time of year. But the fact of it is, people, the Pittsburgh Steelers just look. Let me start with us, I guess. Because the one thing of it is they beat a 9-point spread last week and beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers with Tom Brady. That was something to be said. And yeah, Cliff, likely not, because it's getting to be winter, so it's every bit as likely to dry right back out too. You're right. But we have to score more points. When I go over this game in my head and I think about the issues we've had on defense, the issues we have with injuries on defense, personnel issues on defense, offensive line, when I go over the whole entire team in contrast to Pittsburgh, it once again boils down to points. Every week it has. And the numbers actually show it. We've run up and down the field. We got 2 receivers in the top 5. One is leading the league in yardage. Has 2 touchdowns on the year, both in the same game, same quarter of the same game. There is some reason why we're not putting the ball past the end zone. Whatever it is, we got to figure it out. Now, it boils down to if it's because we're stopping ourselves with penalties inside the 20 or whatever the case may be, turnovers, whatever the reason, missed field goals. I mean, whatever it is, we're not putting the ball past the goal line. And even when Tua was here, albeit in Buffalo against Buffalo, it was quite efficient. We did actually, for as little time as we had a possession, we did make every bit of it with 3 touchdowns. So I actually give credit. That was a fine performance there. And we kind of all expected Josh Allen to keep the ball all day, But without putting up more points, we could have very well lost that game. That game was a couple catches, a couple receptions, a couple better passes away from beating us. Obviously, for the people that are calling 4 minutes left against the Vikings junk time for Teddy, then obviously Tua was able to score 28 points in junk time and come back and win against the Ravens. Cool. But that's not the norm. And from the moment that happened, I screamed out to everybody that we need to spread that over to 4 quarters, and that's when we're good. And we just can't seem to do it. No matter what, we just cannot seem to do it. No matter who the quarterback is. We combined for almost 4 or little over 400 yards passing last week. Or the week before, whatever. We're getting the numbers at quarterback. Even with Tua, with Teddy or Skyler, it doesn't matter. We're getting the numbers at quarterback. We're not scoring points. It's the same as last year. The only difference between this year and last year is that we're getting the yardage to go at least. We are moving the ball. I see some real brilliance every week. But then I just see some stuff that's like, you can't even excuse a rookie coach on some of this stuff. So what I look for this week is to get out early and score points. If we do that, they have absolutely no shot, and we have a chance to truly see a big win. Because we've got the capability. Tua's coming back. I don't foresee rust. We all agreed that's not going to be an excuse. And glad to see Larry in the chat, because Larry can vouch for me that we all agreed that Rusty was not going to be an excuse this Monday morning. Period. Because if it is, then we got bigger things to talk about as to why he wasn't playing against the Vikings, so we could have snatched that win. For all of you that believe he would have beat the Vikings. I'm not convinced. Well, I like to believe that, or I like to default to, yeah, probably Tua would have got one of those wins. Cincinnati, I'm guessing, because he probably would have continued out the game and been fine and we would have scored. I think we would have, that was the game he was poised to get his fourth in a row against a quality team. And I think it was going to happen. But then he got hurt. It is what it is. Well, he's back now, so let's move. Let's get to it. No rust, no nothing. Let's put up the points. And the fact of it is, right now, we got the trusty calculator today, guys. Old school. It always works. You've all seen it before. It's the official color commentary calculator. I have to cover up the brand because they ain't paying me. There it is, right? Solar powered, so the battery works. Fortunately, I've already done some of this math, so we don't have to do it right off the bat. But I haven't done any of Pittsburgh's, so I'm keeping my calculator handy. Because all in all, even if our offensive line is still limping a little bit, I do believe Tua is quick enough to make up for that. As opposed to Teddy or Skyler, I think Tua in the system that Mike McDaniel really wants to implement and has kind of spent a lot of his time working on this offseason probably does benefit from a quarterback like Tua. I mean, let's face it. Whether that should be the case or not, whether that's a good thing or not, it don't matter. If it wins, it wins. So, I'm shifted back to this is what we're going to do. We're going to execute our game plan. We're not going to, imagine that we're good. We're not going to go in there crapping all over the Steelers because they are always a good coached football team. And they always have the potential to do what they did to the Buccaneers last week. But let's face it. They just don't have the firepower. And I'm not afraid of Minka. And Carla proving once again she's gets so in her thought about something, didn't hear what I just said, that Tua probably does operate this offense better. Whatever. I just wanted to repeat it so you don't get all aggravated and frustrated, Carla, because maybe you didn't hear me say that. What's up, Canes? How you doing? Yeah, Christopher Henry. That make a good point. Brady can't move. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You're not going to, let's face it. How many teams, cover a point spread that large twice in a row? We're favored by 7. Vegas ain't stupid. Vegas immediately flipped from 3-point underdogs to the Vikings to 7-point favorites against the Steelers. They didn't even blink at it. So we got to realize that, I don't know. I don't think the Flores thing plays into it. I don't think any of that makes a difference. I think if they try to zero blitz us, Tua and Waddle or Tyreek are going to make them pay. I don't think Tua is afraid to stand in the pocket and take the blow to deliver that pass. Hopefully we can get him outside the pocket before he does it. Oh, so all of a sudden, Carla, the real pro media is trustworthy after you guys crapped on them all off season because they were giving bad negative takes about Tua. Okay, that pro media, get out of here with that nonsense. Come on now. That's only because they've realized that they need Tua to succeed and look good just as well as anybody, as well as the rest of us do, because he makes money. And Bob says Miami will be so pumped for this game, lock of the year. Yeah, and it's one of those things I really don't feel like it's a trap. The only thing that makes me feel like it's a trap is that it's Mike Tomlin. He usually has a well-coached football team, a well-coached defense. But at the same time, that's all that the Patriots brought to the table too. So if you want to say, okay, maybe the game goes sort of like it did against the Patriots, I'll still take that. That's a win. Thanks, Capitan. Capitan's on his way home, drive home. Ooh, a little early today. Awesome. A little Friday earliness. That's a good company you picked up, man. Of course, Thomas, I get you. I'm not going to harp on it. Carla's entitled to her opinion. She thinks I'm a TD disciple. I mean, I'm not a man of faith, so I'm not really anybody's disciple, but I'm my own disciple. I follow myself. Anyway, enough picking on Carla. Don't everybody pile on her. So, I had already written down the numbers for us. Oh, here's my piece of paper here that I hand wrote this stuff. Okay, right here. See? Right there. But just to illustrate it, I'm going to pull it up on the tweet that I made so y'all can see it. Just so you can stare at it as long as you want to. All right, that one, let's see. Then we got to come over to this button here and that button and share this button and share that button. And here we go. And we will full screen it. And then we will also do this little bit here for y'all to see. Here we go. So this is us. Now, as you can see at the bottom, I put a note that says 7 points credited to the defense for defensive touchdown in the second quarter versus New England. Okay. So I did credit the defense back points. In other words, on the against column, that reflects one less touchdown, just as a disclaimer. And I think it's fair to do that. Because this is my interpretation of the numbers, and I'm allowed to do that. And it's my show. So that being said, I did leave the 28 points in the fourth quarter in for us in the for column. So, but in fairness, I took away the 7 points credited to the defense in New England. And which I think they do anyway when they talk about offensive scoring per game. They don't factor in the defensive scores anyway. So it's not anything out of the norm for me to do. Maybe it's a little out of the norm for me to credit back the defense 7 points, but they scored. So why won't we credit them back? They made up for a touchdown that was against them. So why wouldn't it be fair to do that? Anyway, here's where we're at. And Capitan touched on this the other night because I was in back letting him know that I had done this math here. And so this is average points scored per quarter. So I went through and I just went through each of the different, game summaries and looked at each quarter individually and tallied them up. Average points per scored in 6 games per quarter. First quarter, we're scoring 2.6 points per game for those that are just listening. We've had 4.3 points scored against us in the first quarter. Second quarter, we come back, we score 7.8 points per game, which is pretty decent production for the second quarter, considering we hold our opponents to 8.6. Still being outscored, but close enough to say it's negligible. That's an extra field goal before the half that would make a difference there. Then in the third quarter, albeit I have been proven right about the need to score in the third quarter, we still score less than a field goal in the third quarter per game at 2.6 points per game, while having 2.8 scored against us. So our defense is coming out fresh, obviously. They get a break. A lot of this has to do with a couple home, 3 home games. That heat gets to their offense too. Nobody wants to do anything in the third quarter. Okay, fine. But we have to change that. We have to score in the third quarter. I don't know how many times I got to say it. However, in the fourth quarter, to our credit, and this may have to do with what happened in Baltimore, okay? Because traditionally, like last year, when you get to this point, our defense would usually give up by then, and then you'd have like a 16 or a 20-some point fourth quarter, much like what happened against the Jets this year. That's really been the recipe. However, this year, we're scoring 8 points per game in the fourth quarter while having 8.8 scored against us. So we can do the math based on this particular perspective or paradigm, if you want to call it that, where I've credited the defense with 7 points. Okay, but that's the only adjustment other than not counting the defensive score for offensive production. Okay. So we got 2.6 plus 7.8, and I know all the nerds out there already got the total. But we got people that are just listening too, so I'm going to do it. 2.6 in the third plus 8. That totals exactly 21 points per ball game that we're scoring. That's 3 games with Tua, 3 games without Tua. Now, in a minute, I'm going to separate. So don't everybody don't yell at me yet, Carla. I'm going to separate here just in a second, okay? So we can, because what I'm trying to do, Carla, is I'm not trying to necessarily please people like you by saying, hey, this is how good Tua is. My purpose here is to at least pull my friends that think that the sky is falling up from the edge of the cliff a little bit and say, hey, maybe we can get a little excited about Pittsburgh. That's all this is for. Because you're going to see that when I do the separation, that there is some encouragement to be had for Tua coming back. I just happen to believe that includes the offensive line getting healthy and playing better. If the offensive line doesn't play better, then boy, Tua has a chance to prove a lot. Because if he comes through and wins with a bad offensive line, then I'm going to have to eat every word I've said this year. And I'm willing to do it. That's bottom line. Y'all don't mistake me. I want it to happen. If our offensive line it gives us equal performance of the last 3 weeks and Tua comes out and still puts it up and wins, even in a close game, I have to give him credit. Absolutely. Especially if the coaching decisions are still bad. So, I am a little encouraged, but let's finish this out real quick. So the defense, 4.3 in the first, plus 8.6, plus 2.8, plus 8.8 equals 24.5. Now, that to me is not shocking given what the lack of production on offense, but concerning. However, pump the brakes. It might be concerning, but it is exactly what Mike McDaniel promised us that would happen. If you go back and look at previous Finn's Tailgate shows and color commentary shows, you will find me saying that even if McDaniel is right and we regress to around 24 points per game giving up, that's okay because he's about to lay 30 on everybody. Well, we have yet to lay 30 on everybody. I mean, yeah, I get it. The one game, Baltimore, fine. We're scoring 21 points per ball game. With the improvements we've made on paper, with the supposed improvements we've made on coaching, yet we're still getting the same exact production as we did last year. And I don't care what anybody says, points win ball games, not yardage. Yardage leads to points, yes. Yardage is a good indicator that you're scoring points, but obviously we don't get to use normal indicators in Miami because we got the leading receiver in the league in yardage, yet we're scoring 21 points a ball game, and that receiver has 2 measly touchdowns. We've only had backup quarterbacks in for 3 games, ladies and gentlemen. We played 6 games. If you even give Tyreek 1 touchdown in each of the games Tua played, that's 3 touchdowns. He has 2 in 6 games. I am done with the Tua, Teddy, Skyler argument. None of that shit matters when our top receiver has 2 touchdowns in 6 games. They're all bad. Every one of them. Tua, Skyler, Teddy. They're all bad. And if you think I'm wrong, then you need to stop fooling yourselves and you need to blame this coaching staff. Because I'm tired of being the fall guy because I'm speaking the truth. Pittsburgh is going to come in hungry. They're 2-4. If they get to 3-4 with what they got, they got something. They're improving. They got something to build on. Their season ain't over. If we lose, we're done. Turn out the lights. Fold up the ping pong table. It's over. Because you're not going to convince me that anything is going to change. You're not going to convince me that there's any indication that we stop that trend and start winning again. And no, Alex, if you're out there, A 3-3 football team that's lost 3 in a row is not a good football team. We're 1 win away from being 0-4. So all you're telling me is because we switched around 2 wins from over here to over there that it ain't the same 1-4 stretch? It is gaslighting season, obviously. I hope to God our offensive line is in top shape this week, because it's the difference between blowing Pittsburgh out and losing. We're not going to win in a close game. Not going to happen. So, Tehran, I hope you're playing. Ogba, I hope you can play. Every other person on the Jaceki, I hope you can get some damn targets. I'm pulling for you too, buddy. Pittsburgh has a terrible middle of the field. We should be able to exploit that. Waddle, I hope to God you can get back and stop these guys from doing your own dance in the end zone. I'm pulling for you too. Tyreek, keep balling, buddy. I'm with you. Maybe we're going to get that damn 65-yard off-tackle run that I've been calling for all year. Behind this special wide zone running game we keep hearing is so productive. The rest of the league is laughing at us. I had to resort to Peter King today to feel good about this game, because he thinks we're going to blow them out. He actually thinks that there ain't no reason why, because he looked at the points differential too and all that, and oh, well, yeah, why not? Because, Peter, we don't know the condition of our offensive line. That's why. And I'm not so sure yet that Tua can overcome that bad offensive line before our defense collapses. Which I think we have a really good opportunity to do. I took the opportunity early this morning to watch the condensed version of the Pittsburgh-Tampa game, and I'm not impressed at all. Not impressed with Tampa either. Tom Brady has really, really lost it. I mean, get better at that hip rotation, whatever you got to do, Brady, because your passes ain't getting there, buddy. He's about done. Middle of the show, welcome. How you doing, G? Lance McDonald. How you guys doing? I saw Cliff D. Jermaine King, how you doing? Q. That's who reminded me of the mid-show welcome was Q. Always got to say hi to Q. Bentley. And yeah, Mark, we don't white knight Carla here. She gonna knock you down as a Buffalo fan just like the rest of us will, man. Carla can take care of her own, especially against a measly Buffalo fan. Lager Hop, how you doing? Everybody make sure you're liking and sharing. Get more people in here to talk to. I'll try to calm down a little bit. It just bugs the heck out of me how it always comes down to quarterback. Yet everybody wants to talk about it's a team game whenever they need it to be a team game. You know, can we decide which one? Well, Tua did. Tua said he's not here to be the hero. That means Tua thinks himself that he might not have won any of those games behind that offensive line. I'm not saying he thinks that, but that's like a signal, people. When Tua's like, I'm not here to be the hero, that means we would have got the same performance out of him that we got out of Teddy and Skyler. 300 plus yards, couple touchdowns, couple bad throws, bad interceptions, and then boom, we win. But we didn't win. Yeah, Green Rat, I know. I said that to start with. It's like you guys don't listen or something. You know what I mean? You're so ready to get at me and prove me wrong. You don't even hear what I'm saying, Green Rat. I made that disclaimer before I even said anything that the league-wide the scoring per game is down this year. Yes, you're right. We are actually still up there in the rankings at 21 points per game. It is ironic, I know. We're lucky. That's luck. If y'all want to know what luck is. I want to know what luck is. Yeah, that's luck. That everybody's down this year. That's why we got the Jets winning. And by the way, might make you guys feel happy. You can agree or disagree, because I know that Dolphin fans are so ready to make love to the Jets these days. But pump the brakes, because Vegas has them as 1-point underdogs this week against the Denver Broncos. Yeah, they're 1-point underdogs against the Broncos. Vegas does not believe in the Jets. Or whoever set that line is a complete moron. Or knows something we don't know. Maybe he's a Denver insider and happens to know something we don't know about why Russell Wilson has failed to launch. Pun intended. But yeah, the Jets are 1-point underdogs against the. I know that's a pick 'em. That's effectively that's not really underdogs. But the point is that it's not. You know what I mean? It's not the other way around, which is kind of odd. I would have put the Jets to be like 3 or 4 point favorites in that game, given what we've seen from the Jets. But obviously, Vegas thinks it's going to run out. Is there an injury on the Jets that we all don't know about because we don't follow the Jets that maybe Vegas already knows about, that it's going to affect the game more deeply than we think? Who is that? Why does it affect it so deeply? There's all kinds of reasons. But look, if we lose this game, people, to this Pittsburgh team in our house on our night with our quarterback coming back off the bench, all things in position. Sure, we got a few injuries, whatever. Hopefully, we don't get owned by the terrible towels. There's just no reason why if we lose this game, who else can we beat? Yeah, that's kind of what I was getting to, Capitan. Capitan says, no color. Vegas knows it's the New York Jets and that they're going to crumble at any moment. That's what I'm saying. Like, Dolphin fans are so ready to crown them. It's like, hey, wait a minute. Let's get these wins. We go on a good little winning streak against some trash football teams. Look, we as fans can call them trash, but our team needs to stop thinking that way and just do their business. Because if our team does its business, we're beating anybody handily. Think about it, people. Again, we'll do it like this. And I haven't done this yet, so we're going to all do it together. Because I don't want anybody to say that I'm trying to, because it's already being said, that I'm trying to favor one quarterback or shit on another quarterback or whatever. There's nothing about all this. And to Kahari's point, not myth making here today about what I'm about to say, but it is fair to look at the points, But again, Kahari also knows that I include the offensive line in this calculus, not just Tua coming back. So, we can all, fine, if you want Tua to be the god, then yes, it's all Tua that does it, okay? But we all know the offensive line is getting back too. So, that's to Kahari's point. This is not meant to be myth making on Tua, but it is the reality. So we got the first game of the season. I do count field goals for offensive production because our quarterback leads the team into the field goal range to get the field goal. So I credit that. I'm not one of those people that takes off field goals. So we got 13 points for against the Patriots we scored. Okay. Now these are what I'm doing here is I'm going to do a 3-game average for Tua under center. So we got 13 points. Then we followed that up with 42 points against the Ravens. And then we followed that up with 21 points against the Bills. That's a total of 76 divided by 3. Trusty calculator. That's 25.3 points per ball game. That is spectacular. Because remember what I said a minute ago. Our defense, including the 3 games, so this is all 6 games, our defense is only giving up 24.5. That's a winner, folks. Dude. Okay, anyway, let's be fair to the defense, though, and go with those 3 games as well. And, of course, we are going to do the same thing and credit them with a touchdown against the Patriots. So, we had 7 points scored against us against the Patriots. We're going to not count that because our defense scored it back. Then we had 38 points scored against us against the Ravens. And against the Bills scored a whopping 19 points, Mark. That's 57 divided by 3. That's 19 points per game. So when Tua was under center with a healthy offensive line to start the season, we were scoring 25 points to 19 points per game. That beats anybody in the league, including the lowly Pittsburgh Steelers. So I am encouraged, knocking the rust off. I'm quite encouraged this week. Now, to a person like AKA Hobbs, I get where you're coming from too. How many TD drives has Tua led, not counting the miracle Baltimore? I get that. For whatever the reason is, when the offensive line is healthy and Tua is under center, it seems that everybody else doesn't make a whole bunch of mistakes. So we can win that way. Let's be fair. Against a team like the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, after what I just pointed out, being that we're 7-point favorites at home, there's absolutely no reason that we don't win this game huge, that we don't blow this team out, as long as Mike McDaniel is willing to step on the gas pedal. No reason whatsoever. And so, to people like Carla, to people like, there's a few others that are just so convinced it's all about Tua, to those people, why would we not be able to blow out this team this week? Tell me why, if it's not for lack of production at the QB position. We're scoring 25 points per game to 19 with Tua under center and a healthy offensive line. Okay, we can say healthy or not. They were producing better. Tua was experiencing a 26% pressure rate, while Teddy experienced 30%, and Skyler's was as high as 44%. 48%, I'm sorry. So it's all relative. Whether the offensive line was injured or not, they were playing better for Tua. Some have said, oh, that's because Tua elevates them. Except last year, all offseason, we made that argument about an elite quarterback, and we're told, no, the offensive line was just trash, and it didn't matter who the quarterback was. I'm right with you, Carla. We'll get to that in a minute. We've just crossed the hour mark. Maybe we believe for different reasons, but we both believe the same thing, and that's really what matters. It's my job today, and this is why it sounds to some people like I'm crapping on our team. My job today is to steelman their argument and help them understand why, again, if they're right about everything, that's why we lose, not because of Tua. I honestly think Tua is still going to do the same, is going to perform just as equally as well as Teddy and Skyler. So if we lose, it's for the same reasons we've been losing. And that's the issue. That's the point I want to make. That's the point I want to make for them, because that's the point they're trying to make. Along with the fact that an elite quarterback would overcome all of that and still blow this Pittsburgh Steelers team out. So that's really where the crux of the matter is. I think that people don't want to just see us win this Sunday. They want to see us utterly destroy the Steelers. We're due for it. I've been calling it all year, Carla. I've been sitting here saying all year we're going to blow whatever team we're facing out. All we got to do is do it once, and I'm back on to shitting on Buffalo fans. That's what I'm spending my energy on if we're back to winning like that. That's all I want. I want the argument to end. Just like anybody else does. And there's just too many variables and too many factors that allow it to keep going on, despite what Tua lovers want to believe. It just is the way it is. Although he does have the same chance he had in Cincinnati to capture my faith this week. We put up 40-some points on this team. How can I argue? We even win if we see a lot of the same nonsense from Mike McDaniel and the rest of the team that we've seen for the last 3 games, and Tua pulls out a win, then what can I say? Tua's the guy. For whatever the reasons. So let's get there first. Let's talk about how we can get there instead of, oh, no, don't say that, because if you say that, that means you're picking on a guy from 2 weeks ago. No, I'm done with all that. I want to get back to 3-0 Miami. 25 points per game and 19 against. That's the Miami I want to get back to. I don't give a damn who does it. I don't give a damn if it's the team, if it's a team effort, coaching, quarterback, the Jets doing the flyby during the national anthem. I don't give a damn who it is. Get it done. Because this is the team we're facing. And now it's time to be fair. I like being fair, especially on a Friday afternoon when, we're going to do, I really think we got this. I really do. I just don't have any, I don't I really don't feel any reason why we should lose this game other than the typical bad omens that everybody talks about. Well, bad omens don't help a bad team. I mean, they do, but Tampa's bad too. And so is Green Bay. I don't know why everybody thinks beating Green Bay is such a feat. A lot of us had us beating Green Bay before the season even started this year. You know, I said 13-4. Where do you think those 4 losses came from? Certainly not one from Green Bay. You know, so keep that in mind. So we got the Steelers. Good old Steelers. Good old Steelman. Mike Tomlin. I love Mike Tomlin. I really hate to be back. You know, it's so hard to go at this team because it's such a good organization. You know, such tradition for the NFL. But it's in our house this week. Leave them terrible towels at home unless you're bringing your weird terrible towel. Oh, I got a weird terrible towel. Hold on. Let me see if there it is. Ladies and gentlemen, it is the Miami Dolphins official weird terrible towel. See, ooh, yay! Had it for years. I think I picked it up at a Patriots game one week. They were giving them away. And that's why I called it the weird terrible towel. Yeah, horrible hankies. I like that. I saw that earlier, Dolphin Don. That's a good one too. It's a little more catchy. Carla, I understand that. That's what concerns me. You can't just do that in the NFL. This ain't baseball. And that still speaks to our depth because the decisions he made. Look, I get what you're saying, Carla. I want to pull that up because you make a really good point. Carla says, see, Culler, you don't understand football. That's not the good point you're making. But if you don't realize Mike McDaniel has been resting players, knowing Tua will be back, he's been saying before the season started he wants best ball in November. I get that. So that excuses him from putting Tanner Connor in a crucial drive. That says, okay, we're gonna win purpose or gonna lose purposely because of that. We were in every game, and the reason we lost was largely because of coaching mistakes. Discipline mistakes, penalties, bad calls, low energy. That's why we lost. And resting players because of a long season is no excuse. You're acting like we're guaranteed to win every other game. That's taking a huge risk, is all I'm saying. A huge risk. And hey, you're right, Carla. If it works out and we go on a blah, blah, blah and run, then you can say you were right and McDaniel is a genius. But that is a huge risk. Huge. And not one most coaches are willing to make unless they know they're protected, which comes down to Ross. Does he really want to win? And Tua was healthy last week. Anyway, let's get back to Pittsburgh. because this is the team we're facing, people. So I'm going to do their overall first. Now, granted, I don't know how many times their defense scored a touchdown, so I can't be completely accurate with this one. I'm just going by on their offensive production, which was so low, it doesn't even matter anyway. We'll be conservative and let them have it, you know. So we got 23 plus 14 plus 17 plus 20 plus 3 plus, by the way, our AFC East rivals, the Bills, have set the standard and held them to 3 points. So plus 20, that's 97 divided by 6 equals, they're scoring 16 points per game, people. 16 points per game. And for those of you that wanted me to take off the fourth quarter in Baltimore, let's do that. We already did. It means that we were scoring 16 points per game. So if we get one of those touchdowns in Baltimore, we're still better than they are. By a touchdown. So what can you say? Even in our doom and gloom of this part of the season where we've dropped 3 games in a row and we're down to 21 points per game, we should still beat the Steelers. Let's find out how many points their defense is giving up, because that should give you an indication of how many of those 21 of our points we should be able to score. These are the things Vegas does, people, where they come up with how they come up with these numbers. So you got 20, they started against the Bengals. They had 20 points put up against them. New England scored 17. The Browns scored 29. Ugh. The Jets scored 24. We got to at least do what the Jets did, people. The Bills did 38. I suspect we do somewhere between the Jets and the Bills, which is why I have us at about, Miss Finns, I gave her 35 to 17, and I think I've landed for my own 31 to 15. So it's pretty close. But we'll get to that later because I got actually a couple different scenarios. And then against Tampa, 18. That's 146 divided by 6 equals 24.3. So you could almost say that we're kind of equal teams, except that our offense is way better. Even when we're struggling, our offense is way better. We have to win this game. And if our offense gets right, how can we not destroy this team? So I hope that makes people like Lewis. How you doing, Lewis? I see you. How you doing, DTA? Bromar Smelly, Crypto, Level 2 Noob. It really is a matter of points. And even in our darkest hour right now, we're scoring 4 more points per game, 5 more points per game than the Pittsburgh Steelers, albeit holding teams to about the same. So they'll get all of their 16, basically, is what I'm saying. They'll get all of their 16 because we give up 24 or 20, whatever it was I said, 25. So they'll get their 16. Give them another field goal. Give them another touchdown because of our 25. Okay, fine. Let's say they score 20 points. we should be able to score all of the 24, all of our 21. And since they give up 24, you can add a touchdown or two to us, given that we got Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, Mike Gesicki, and the like, and a better defense at the point of attack. I really don't see why we can't win this ball game 31-15. Maybe 35-17. 38-17 is what I think I told Miss Fins. 38-17. Now, if I'm completely wrong and Lewis is laughing at me on Monday morning, I can accept that because there's no reason for me to think otherwise, other than our recent performance, recency bias. And if I were to go on recent performance, I would say that the Steelers have every bit of chances blowing that 7-point spread as they did beating the Bucs last week. And that could really hurt us. That could destroy our season. It's amazing how we got so much so much to win and so much to lose at the same time. It's kind of interesting. One of those games. So look for us to get better on offense. We can get it back up to those numbers. Let's do it this way. Since we did the 3 games with Tua alone, well, I was going to say we could do their 2 wins, but in their 2 wins, 23 points and 20 points, that's still only about 21 points per game in their 2 wins. So even when they're winning, they're only scoring about 20 points. We have to destroy this team. It really is a matter of what are we? Are we one of those teams that roll through teams like this, or are we playing down to our competition? I don't want to be playing down to our competition. And that's kind of really all I had to say about the game this week. And if you want me to tell you how they can win, their win is through Najee and getting to Tua. That's their win. Turnovers and Najee Harris. That's how the Steelers win, if they're going to win. Which means we're going to shut that down, and so it's really going to be up to their quarterback. Thanks, DTA. Everybody follow DTA's advice. Our newest wrench carrying mod. Appreciate you. Pete says, Culler, you can't use the heat excuse. Night game will have Flores defense fresh. Yeah, that's true, but they still have to have the ability, Pete. He can scheme them all he wants, but they still have to be able to do it. And he didn't construct that defense. And Sal, you're correct. We're a 500 team. Yeah, I know. But dude, Sal, I get that, but that's what I'm supposed to do. I'm a fan. If I didn't think we had a chance to win, I would not bother watching the game, and that would make for a boring Sunday night. But that being said, it's not as if I'm being delirious. I'm using sound, educated information to form a hypothesis that we're going to win. It's not as if I'm looking at these numbers and they're reversed and I'm saying we're going to win. I mean, give me a little bit of credit. I will not be attending the game this weekend. Lots of reasons. Night game, costs, logistics. wheels, you name it. It's just too much to overcome this week for me to be there. But I will definitely be on live. I'm in some form, either through Capitan with the Fins tailgate or myself. Capitan's been trying to get away from it, but it's prime time, so we know he'll call it. He can say he doesn't want to all he wants, but that all being said, we're over the hour mark at 1 hour and 20. I want to remind everybody to like and share, subscribe to the channel if you haven't. It's really easy to do, and it's free to do. I know YouTube uses the word subscription, but it's free. It's just a follow. And it allows you to hit the notification bell and to let you know when we go live. If you like it or even dislike it, YouTube will put it in front of more people's faces on their suggestion feed. And sharing will get more people in the chat to talk to. There's also other ways to support the channel through Cash App and Venmo, as well as super chats, super stickers, and YouTube memberships. Hit the join button below the screen there, and you will see a join button. We have 3 different levels of membership, and shout out to all the members that have decided to join the family. We appreciate every one of you. And at the very least, you could use the link for Fanatics in the description below for any of your officially licensed gear. They've got everything you need on that front. NBA, NFL, NHL, NCAA, soccer, all of the major sports. I think they even probably got tennis too. Then, of course, you got backroom collections for high-end collections, memorabilia, artwork, really great stuff. Hashtag TFTG at checkout for 10% off. And, of course, you can hit all of our gear as well. Starting to brisk up in Florida a little bit. Might want to grab you one of them beanies. A flag. Probably be putting these away for a little while. Unless you're like from Detroit or something. And, of course, all this great gear. Make sure you're catching us for Tuesday nights. Talk TMI. We're trying to get him back. He's dealing with some life issues at the moment, and he will be getting back. In the meantime, I'm probably going to be covering that night going forward because I'm having a hard time with Thursday nights, which is where you normally can catch me. Although today, as you can see, afternoon color commentary for the same reason. And of course, I forgot. I was not diligent earlier. I did not mention late night XL on Saturday nights with Ali, preceded by myself with a cup of coffee sometime in the morning or afternoon. Talk more about the game. Ali will be letting all the smoke out, exhaling it all. Focusing towards Sunday, focusing towards hyping up. I don't think he's going to go. I don't know. He might not go. He might go early because it's game week, but the game is on at night, so I'm not sure. We'll have to see what he says about that. It'll either be 9:30 or 10 o'clock. And, of course, every other night of the week, you can catch El Capitan with the Fins tailgate. Especially tonight. Tonight, we got the one, the only, the specialist of specialist guests who will be getting the logo question just like the rest of them. Don't think you're going to skirt that. The one and only TD from TD Fins Talk. You all know him. You all love him. Carla don't love him, but she watches every one of his shows because they're great. We're going to have him on tonight. 8 o'clock, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Capitan will be chopping it up one-on-one with the great one, who is live right now, by the way. Talking about Tua versus Kenny. That's interesting. I'm probably going to shut it down at the hour and a half mark anyway, because you got a lot more great content coming, and I want to make sure I save some energy for tonight for TD. I'll go about another 5 or 6 minutes. Maybe if I let people up, it's just going to go for hours. And, you know, I want to hear what Lewis has to say, but he came in late, so I'm not sure he heard my monologue anyway. We'll give him a chance to digest that get his take on that. We saw a couple things Pete was saying. We'll finish all that talk up tonight with the Fins tailgate after TD. Again, make sure you're catching tonight. Capitan and TD chopping it up. First time ever on the Fins tailgate. Special guest, TD Fins Talk. We appreciate him for coming. We appreciate all you coming today. I really love talking to you all. I'm glad you all came. I'm glad to have been able to make up my show from last night. I hope you guys understand my perspective when it comes to points per game. That's what we talked about today. Point differential, why they matter, what quarters matter. Let's get a couple more scores in the first and third quarter. We'll be fine. We'll be absolutely fine. We can beat anybody in the league, including the lowly Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm going to go with 31-15 Miami in our 72 night celebration night. All the guys are going to be there. We're going to be in throwbacks. Weather is going to be great. Might get a little rain, so bring your raincoat if you're down in the lower levels. Until then, don't ever forget that we all over here at
Fins tailgate
love you to death. And we appreciate you guys coming every time you do. Don't ever doubt it for a second. Even y'all haters, we love every one of you. Peace out, everybody. Have a great afternoon. Have a great weekend. We'll be seeing y'all again this weekend. Fins up. Love y'all.